I want to switch you so you're facing this way. At least for the intro.
He's like, what?
Good boy. I do this a lot with my cat on the pillow. I'm very adept at this. She's like, what just happened?
He's like,
I'm trying to, he's like, I want to look at
disagree.
you. Okay.
I need to look at your beautiful face.
Oh, he's crawling at me.
He's like, how dare
Let's
you?
get this done. So then he can lay down. Let's get the intro done. So I'll
Okay. All right, welcome to our next episode of This Is Sus. This is Sus. We have a very suspicious dog. You may have heard him in the background before, but he is front and row and center today. This is Ted. Welcome, Ted. Welcome.
I call him Ted Talk because he has a lot of opinions.
He does. He's so excited all the time. You may hear his opinions loudly in the background when we can't cut it out. So, yeah. He's very upset, and maybe we'll lick his bum while we're doing this. And you know what? You got to do what you got to do, right, Ted?
Yeah, right in front of me.
Yeah.
No, he wants pets.
He wants pets. And
you can see his alopecia now.
Yes, he's a dog with alopecia. He's a bougie dog. Only bougie dogs have alopecia, I swear.
Really. Almost anybody named Ted is probably balding.
I mean, yeah, they have a receding hairline for sure. Sorry, all the Teds out there.
We love you.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, right? He's like another famous Ted.
Yeah.
We've introduced Ted. I am April. This is Lori. And that's Nicole. We say it like that for special reasons.
We don't say it like that.
We do.
That's a first.
I've actually never heard that, but I do like it.
No. There's this
there was
story
a
behind
phase
it.
when I was a teenager when I did tell everyone my name was Nicole because I wanted to be more French.
Like knee, like the knee, like you pronounce
Nicole.
the knee.
Nicole.
So Nicole and I were roommates a really long time ago, and trigger warning, if you don't like poop, go forward.
Trigger warning, if you don't like poop, this is the wrong podcast because April will never let it go.
I love poo. It's good for you, man.
No.
You gotta poo every day. Anyway, I mean, if people don't poo every day, it's really bad for them. Anyway, I really like trolling Nicole, and so she was like in her room, and I was bored, and I forgot my phone probably when I was going to the bathroom. So I called her name many times until she came, and I'm not a shy bathroom user. I grew up with sisters, one bathroom, you know it. So I was like, hey, Nicole. And so now for the past, 15 years, I call her name like that, and it just makes her think of poop.
So imagine you're laying in your bedroom. I'm probably scrolling my phone, and I hear, Nicole! And I come running. I'm like, is everything okay? And she's like, yeah, I was pooping and I was lonely.
Tell me a story. That's what I always say.
I'm like, no.
No. One time I trolled her and pretended I used her toothbrush for a couple of months. It was so funny.
It was very upsetting.
Oh, it's so great. I love being your roommate.
Because she didn't actually admit it was a troll for several years.
Oh, yeah.
I believed it
So the
until
whole
about
time
2-3 years ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm still scarred.
It's so great. I was like, yeah, I have
So funny.
my toothbrush. I don't know. I would just say random little comments here and there about the toothbrush. It was great. And then she triggered one time that I was talking about her toothbrush, and you guys, it was amazing. It was worth every time I said it, and laid the ground rules for that.
Oh my gosh.
Or the ground.
I'm so here for that.
Yeah. Lori is a new friend, and she hasn't been subject to many of my trolls yet.
No, but I
coming.
sure enjoy the stories.
Yeah,
As
right?
do our listeners. I know they do.
Yeah, of course. Many of our
Your time will
listeners
come.
have been trolled by me as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's my favorite. And they're all really random, so
It's great, though.
yeah.
We love
Anyway, let's start off with our icebreakers. Who goes first? Ted, I believe I'm going to ask Ted a question.
Okay.
Okay, Ted. What is the funniest movie scene you can think of?
Was it All Dogs Go to Heaven?
Is it? I think it's, what is that, Air Bud? Did you like Air Bud?
He's like, that's before my time.
I feel like he's more of a Marley and Me dog.
I think he's a big softie. He's just sitting here with his back leg up. That's
Fox
how
and the
it's
Hound?
supposed to-
What do you
Fox
think,
and the
Lori? It's
Hound.
your dog.
I think he's like a big lady in the tramp.
Oh, that's so true. Are you the
Type
lady or are
dog.
you the tramp? You're definitely the tramp. I'm just kidding.
You just
I
don't
called
know.
I called it.
I mean, are we talking like 20s or 30s? Different Lori.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. That's true. So now you're the lady, but before you were the tramp.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
So
The
he's coming your
progression.
lady period, so he's a tramp.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right.
All right, so I don't know if that counts as a question for Lori or Ted, so we'll just set it aside and actually ask Somebody else can ask.
Okay.
I don't understand the whole like who can ask what, so they often have to
Let you go first.
or something. I don't know.
See, like if I were to ask Lori now, Lori would have. Well, she could ask either of us, I guess.
Yeah, because I asked Ted.
That's
Legitimately,
right.
I asked Ted.
That's right. Oh, Ted's trying to read it.
Yeah.
what do
Ted, who do you want to ask?
He's like,
Okay, who are you gonna ask, Ted? Maybe read it for him. I don't think he's past that level in grade school.
okay, April. Lori, if you had to wear a warning label, what would it say?
Caution.
That's
And
it.
what? That's it. Tell
I
us
would
why.
say caution because you never really know what you're going to get. I mean, generally, I'm bubbly and happy and excited and all of the happy emotions. But sometimes, especially at a certain time of the month, I can be very emotional and cry at the drop of a hat. You know, like I think of something and I could just start crying or whatever, or like something might trigger me in the moment. And so you just never really know what you're going to get. So I would just say caution. Could be good caution. You know, like when you're painting something, you have to put up caution tape so that nothing gets wrecked.
Is that good?
Right?
I guess.
Right? Like, you
It's
don't
like
want
caution,
something to...
don't touch her right now.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, I would say caution.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, your go.
All right, April. What is the most bizarre talent that you have?
I'm not talented.
Oh, there's a talent in there.
I have most of my teeth and I can read.
Those are very solid talents, though.
What? Nicole's looking at me like I'm psycho.
I mean, that is just so boring and lame. Come on, you've got all sorts of quirky talents.
I literally can't think of any.
What about your resin sculptures?
Oh,
Think of
I wa-
hobbies that you've done.
hobbies.
Okay, here's a bizarre talent that you have.
Okay.
You can freestyle paint amazingly. But when you go by those paint by numbers nights, those paint nights,
Oh, yeah.
you can't do it.
I mean, I can.
It's like so
It looks
much
better
more-
than June's.
It looks well. That's because June's is filled with other things.
Okay, so
he
one
freestyles
time-
his own way.
So when we do, you know, when you go to like those paint nights or whatever, we always have like a secret goal. And one of them was to paint a subtle dick into the painting. Except June's were not subtle at all.
And multiple.
And multiple of them. We did one or two maybe, but June did, I don't know, like 27 in his painting. And I can remember he told me that one of the guy who was leading the paint night came around and he would put his head like, he's like, I've never seen it done like that before. And I was like, that's so funny because I mean, what a backhanded compliment.
Oh, no, we're saying
Yeah.
bizarre talent, not just.
Oh,
like,
right. Bizarre talent.
You
Oh,
have
right.
lots of talents,
I guess.
but
I guess
weird
a
and
bizarre
unusual
talent can't be
talents?
teeth.
No,
But I have teeth.
like you were born with teeth. It's not like
No,
a
you're
talent.
not born with teeth. You're born and you don't have
You
teeth.
should
and
not
They
be
are.
born
They're-
with teeth.
They're up in there.
Yeah, but they're
They're
not
up
like
in there.
Yeah, but they have a journey to get through.
Yeah, but just retain them all. I feel like in Canada that's not bizarre.
Okay.
And when you're in your 30s.
Okay. I can sometimes often dream things that will solve issues for people. I'll just say that.
Oh, and you remember your dreams. So
Yeah, I
a
do.
lot of people, most of us
Yeah.
forget our dreams.
Yeah.
But you pretty much remember all your dreams.
Yeah.
Which I would actually say that is a bizarre talent. I mean, I can
It
remember
is.
some of my dreams, but like the way that you remember your dreams is very special.
Yeah, some of them are very bizarre. Some of them are very like intuitive, I guess. And so yeah, they can sometimes be helpful for people, I think.
Yes.
Or like sometimes they're struggling with something and I'll dream about it and talk to them or like whatever. So yeah. That's my talent, I guess. Bizarre talent.
Nice.
It's better than what I said before. All right. So can I pick one now for
Yeah.
reals? Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And now you are going to ask Nicole.
She's so sad about that. I don't need to be asked. I'm good.
Okay. Actually, I'm very curious because you're super punny and some of them are, I don't know. We'll see. What is the funniest name you can think of for a Wi-Fi network? And it cannot be like, I don't know, surveillance van or something.
I mean, I used to have nacho Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Now I have Wi-Fi to rule them all.
I was pretty happy with one I did. With mine, it was pretty fly for a Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good. And I was really proud of it, except it named my phone that when I went to the next phone, and I could not figure out how to change it. When it says, hello, April, hello, Lori, it would say, hello, pretty fly for a Wi-Fi. It's funny.
That is great.
But Nacho Wi-Fi is really good. I like that. Nacho
I
Wi-Fi.
thought it was pretty good.
That is good.
Yeah.
That is
I
good.
love that. I used to have a shirt that I wore to the club one time. It had nachos on it, and it said "Nacho Girlfriend."
That was
and
her
then-
tramp period, by the way.
I actually right across the chest there. It'd be like nachos.
Nacho, Nacho Girlfriend.
That'd be great.
So funny.
That is great. All right. Well,
Okay, should we
Let's
get
do a
into some
story.
suspicious stories?
yeah, I have already forgotten who's going first.
Okay, so Lori's going first. Okay.
So, our first story today, I'm very excited about having a discussion about this. This story is only 6 hours old, so this is a freshie.
Fresh meat.
It's a fresh meat story. So, this is from the subreddit called True Off My Chest, and the user is Strange Holiday 7704. So, I'm just going to tell you a brief snippet of the name of this story because I don't want to give it all away. It says, I caught my husband, ...
Okay.
Okay. So, let's get into this juiciness here. My husband and I have been married for almost 10 years. We have 3 kids, a 5-year-old, 3-year-old, and 9-month-old. Around 2.5 years ago, I discovered he was having an affair that had been going on for around 6 months. We separated for some time. I went to therapy. We went to marriage counseling. We took about 10 months apart and supposedly working on ourselves and working on our marriage before officially getting back together. During that initial reunion phase, we surprise conceived our youngest. Until very recently, my husband had seemed very committed to fixing what he had destroyed in our marriage. He jumped through all of the hoops, or I thought he had. Believe me, I read the books and I followed the rules and I made all of the demands, and he did everything he was asked to do. It wasn't always smooth sailing. He'd push back sometimes. He got defensive. We argued. It hurt a lot. But I truly believed we were continuing on our path of overcoming what he had done. I felt like our relationship was strong, and for the first time in our entire relationship, I felt like we were finally operating as a team. I can't say that my full trust in him ever completely returned, but I was dealing with that in therapy. We were dealing with it. It was okay for me not to trust 100% yet. We both understood it was a process, and trust had to be replenished piece by piece. I lived with this and continued to do the work. Recently, I started to feel suspicious in a way I couldn't ignore. It was like he was being too nice to me, too attentive, too willing to be of service for whatever I wanted or needed. That was actually the first thing that tipped me off. He was being too good of a husband. Then I realized he was doing things that he had never really done before. Offering to do the big grocery shopping trips, taking the kids to new parks, running to pick up food on the occasion we ordered out. He always opted to have food delivered and would never be bothered to go pick it up before. Little things, but they were big changes to me. Now, his work schedule has supposedly changed. No longer does he get home as early as he used to. I really tried not to be paranoid about it, but it was driving me crazy. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore, so I followed him. I followed him when he took our 9-month-old baby with him to go run several household errands under the guise of allowing me to relax. I found him with the woman he had previously cheated on me with, her on top of him in the driver's seat having sex.
With their child in
Our
the car?
baby was in the back seat.
Oh my God.
He had sex with his mistress, with our baby right there. It's beyond disgusting. If he wanted to use the excuse of running errands to go meet up with her, he didn't have to take the baby too. It's gross. He knew he was going to meet up with her for sex. Why would you take the baby? He said right.
I know why. It's because he wants to seem like he's doing something nice. So she'll be grateful and not be suspicious or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
What an asshole.
Yeah. Right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Why would you take the baby? Oh, right. You had just said that. Okay. He said the baby was asleep and in the rear facing car seat and has no clue what's going on. It's no different than when we have sex in our bedroom with the baby asleep in our room. How dare he? How dare he compare what he was doing with her to that? I set an emergency appointment with my therapist. I was seeing red, beyond red, black, all black. Somehow I came out of that appointment even more mad. I just wanted to rage and he kept trying to talk me down. And damn it, I don't want to be talked down right now. I don't want to be calm and rational. I want to scream. I want to hit things and break things and destroy his life. I will be honest. I'm only posting this here so that I can get to the required account, age, and karma to post in the infidelity group I was actually trying to post in. I don't know where else to go where I can just commiserate on all of the different ways I can destroy him now. That's all I want to do right now. The end.
Aw. I'm so sorry, OP.
Right?
Right?
Also, like, that's just so terrible. Like, that's disgusting. I hope that you can use that to get custody of your kids.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Yes.
100%. Let's discuss. I haven't really like looked at any of the comments or whatever, but
Yeah,
what are our comments about this?
The first thing that came to my mind is he cheated and they split up for 10 months and then they got back together. And she mentioned how she went to therapy and how they then also went to marriage counseling. Mm-hmm. But she wasn't the one that cheated. And yes, she can go to therapy to help her learn how to repair the trust that was there. Why wasn't he in therapy?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was.
No,
Didn't
she went to therapy.
And then they went to
couples counseling.
Oh.
But he did not go and do therapy on his own. He did, from what it sounds like to me. So him going to therapy would be the thing he should have done. And he did the bare minimum. She's like, he did everything I asked. But he did the bare minimum of everything she asked.
Yeah. She read all the books.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, she said he jumped through the hoops, but it sounds like that's what he did.
But the thing is that a person who wants to be in a relationship with you after infidelity, they don't see it as jumping through the hoops to get back together with you. They see it as the thing that they have to do to make it right. So he's probably used that term, I'm jumping through the hoops for you. And I want to do and be with you. Phrasing it that way is like, I'm doing this because I have to, not because I want to. In my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's clear that he wanted to stay married. He opted, after the affair was found out, he opted.
Divorce is expensive.
It is, and she's pregnant with another baby, and they opted to stay together. And maybe he tried for a while because it sounds like things were going better, and then his behavior changed a bit. Mm-hmm. And that's when the affair resumed, because he's trying to, look so good that she would never suspect him. But it's clear that he values whatever it is he values, because usually when you're cheating, it's not about the sex, it's about something else. Mm-hmm. And so, clearly he values something else more than their marriage. And just the premeditation, to take the baby so he would look like he was being helpful, and just to put a child through that
and be okay with that and not think that that's
and then defend it,
and then also think and say that it's the same as if they're having sex. Excuse me. No. That's your wife, that's his mother, or the child's mother.
Not some woman moaning in the front seat.
Not some random person.
Yeah.
That's just really gross.
And we don't know that the baby was asleep. Like, it's not like they're like, let's wait for the baby to be asleep. Sure, the baby's in a rear-facing child seat, but it can probably hear everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And how would he know? He's busy doing other stuff.
Yeah.
The woman obviously knows he's got a very young child. Shame on her as well.
Absolutely.
I mean,
she knows he's not divorcing.
She knows that he's not divorced. They were together before. Yeah. And she's okay with that? Like, girl.
I mean, whatever he's saying to her, I don't know if she's buying the Kool-Aid or if she's just one of those people who prefers married men, but it's messed up. Like, if you're just meeting up to have desperate sex in a car, there's something really messed up about that.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Go have sex in your car with your wife.
Yeah.
Like, get a babysitter, go do it. I'm not really okay with them having sex in a car with a child either. Mm-mm. It's different when you're in your own bedroom. I'm not saying that people can't be safely exhibitionists. It sounds like he goes out and So they live in like a town or a city, and then he goes out to get food. He goes out to get things, and that takes only a certain amount of time.
Right.
They're not going to a secluded place or a place, whatever. What if something were to happen where you're doing that and then you were to be arrested, because you can be. Your kid's there, you're risking them being CPS being called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're exposing that child to sexual acts
Yeah. In public.
in public.
That's actually a really weird aspect of this affair, is these just quick and dirty get-togethers, hey?
Yeah.
And,
exactly.
Like, that doesn't seem like a relationship to me. So maybe it's just with this other woman, or maybe there are multiple. I have no idea.
Well,
but
they said it's the same person
It is.
that
From
he-
before.
That time.
From before, yeah.
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 I mean, maybe. Does seem like a relationship to me, but maybe a fuck buddy relationship.
Yeah.
But
A frequent one, though.
yeah. But I mean, fuck buddies are usually frequent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you can have multiple though. That doesn't mean whatever. I would be getting tested, OP. I would be getting tested.
100%. 100%.
Either you don't let him back in the house, or you go somewhere safe.
Yeah,
and
he's
keep
not
your kid
valuing
safe.
your child.
No, he's valuing his dick over his own kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think the whole situation is so filthy. It's filthy. I had a hard time wrapping my head around it when I first read it, and that's why I was so excited to read it today, because we all know that OP is not alone in this situation.
No.
Guaranteed, there are so many other people that have very similar stories to this OP, and the fact that he was jumping through hoops and wanted to make it work, and he was doing all of the things that she was asking, right? But then all of a sudden it was too good to be true. And that's always going to be a tip off.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody's perfect. Nobody always wants to do what you want them to do.
Well, when their focus is somewhere else, they don't care. Like that guy we spoke about a couple weeks ago who had 2 families. He was always a wonderful father. That's because he really never had to deal with things.
Yeah.
And so he's getting some needs met elsewhere, and then it just takes the pressure off, because he's less committed to this relationship. So there's less, he cares less. And
Yeah.
so he can be more agreeable,
Well, and I think one thing that really bothers me is that when you're in a committed relationship, you have multiple children. You have multiple children. Every woman who writes on Reddit, or not even just woman, every person who feels like they're being mistreated, and they're like, normally I wouldn't, but I decided to follow him. It's like, don't even say normally I wouldn't. Don't even like try to say,
Don't downplay it.
Don't downplay it. You can totally go follow them if you think they're cheating on you, and like doing that. You be FBI, because you do not deserve that.
Yeah.
And if they're not being truthful, and there are red flags where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes it is like a guy who's going to learn how to do the salsa dance so that he can dance with you, but really, or learning your language. Like, there are stories like that.
Yeah, of course.
And then the woman's like, oh, but you know what? Or the other person, not even just a woman, like women can do it too. They're always like, oh, I felt so bad, I looked at his phone. I mean, I don't think that you should be going through your partner's phone, but when they suddenly start to not want you to look at your phone, that's a huge red flag.
Yeah.
That's a huge red flag.
Like, I think in a healthy relationship, you would have access if you needed it.
Or if you just randomly, like, why would you hide it?
Yeah. Like, I think if I went to my partner's phone and it was locked and I couldn't get in, I'd be like, why is this?
Exactly.
Unless it was around my birthday time. That's about the only time.
Yeah.
But just sort of that general expectation of trust. I wouldn't normally pick up my partner's phone. But
like, honestly,
but if you have if you're just like, oh, I gotta text this or whatever,
or like, I need this information or
Yeah.
whatever. Personally, obviously you shouldn't be combing through their emails and combing through their messages on a regular basis. If you do that, then there's either a trust break there, that you're feeling that you need to do that, and maybe it's not the right relationship for you, or there's something that you have to deal with internally yourself.
Yeah.
That if you're normally not like that and suddenly you start feeling like you have to start doing that, then you should really take a look at why that is and what's changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because sometimes people change, right? And it's a normal thing for somebody to change. But when something doesn't feel right, then, it's okay to follow your intuition. Like, this woman followed her intuition, and she got the news she didn't want, but at least she got it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? And it wasn't like it was just one thing that he did that was like, that's weird. It was
Yeah.
a few different things that was like, okay, that's strange. That's also very strange. But also the fact that this other woman is okay with having his baby 9 months old. Like that is
It's giving-
so young.
It's giving major pick me energy to me.
Well, more than that, like, no, more than that. Like, I just think that it's really risky behavior for both of them to be doing things so publicly on a regular basis, and to be like, this probably isn't the first time
No.
with the child. And so for them both to be so callous about that, there's something really wrong there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and they were saying that, he had taken their kids to different like new parks.
Oh.
Right? So that part too, I'm like, has this other woman met the other children?
No, I bet you they're
Like,
like,
I just have
go
so many
play.
questions.
I
I
have
know.
to go to the bathroom.
So the kids are being ignored for 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
playing alone. Nobody's watching them.
Yeah.
You don't know who's
Like,
going to
this
come
is
take
really
your kids.
risky behavior.
So dangerous.
Let's hear some comments. The
Yeah.
top comments.
Okay, so the top comment right now is, first, go to a lawyer. Get your
Yeah.
documents and all that's yours. Tell your family and support so he can't twist this shit.
Yes.
This relationship is over.
Yep.
Then there's a few comments onto that comment. This OP needs to gather her friends and family close and lean on their support as she divorces her vile excuse of a husband. Oh, and she should get herself tested for STDs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then somebody said, she said nothing about wanting to leave him, not during the first time he was caught and not now. And then somebody was like, then
She
she's
wants
a
to ruin his
fool.
life.
I think she's ready to leave him.
I think
She
she's
wants to
ready.
destroy
She
him.
wants to destroy him.
Yeah,
I
I-
mean,
so angry.
no one wants to stay with somebody. You're like, okay, I'm going to destroy your life and then I'll stay with you. I
No.
don't think those two things
No,
connect.
I'm pretty
No, I
sure
think
that
she was clear.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
pretty. That final.
That's a
little
bad take.
statement. Yeah,
That's a bad
yeah,
take.
that was an interesting take on the
No,
situation.
I understand the rage, man. You go for it.
Yep. Oh, I actually. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I actually commented on this.
Yeah. While you're looking for it, I remembered often cheaters will do is they will. So let's say you've looked at their phone, you followed them, they've whatever. They will then say, "You're invading my privacy. Why would you look through my phone?
It's a blame.
It's like trying to. It's like Darvo for sure. They're going to switch it around, become the victim, so that you're the one. And so often people. You feel bad for following, or you feel bad for looking at the phone or reading through the emails or signing into the iCloud. You need proof because when they're backed into a corner, they will lie.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's gaslighting and doing
Blame shifting.
like mental abuse
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the mental gymnastics so that you can be okay with him staying and so he can keep fucking around. It's terrible.
Yeah. She did the work. She wanted to make it work. So she
Yeah.
did the work. And I think that is so disheartening for OP now, because she's like, I spent all of this time, all of this energy to just be fucked over again. Like,
I guess
Yes and no.
Yeah.
So honestly, like in my marriage, my past marriage, I did the work.
yeah.
And he remains an asshole.
Yeah. True enough.
But I am a healthier person because of it. So she is hurting desperately right now. And
Yes.
that's going to take time.
Yes.
But she is also a healthier person who has a better foundation to get through
Yes.
this. Yes, she wants to destroy him at this moment. In a few days, she'll get over that and think more practically like, this is what I want for my future and my kids.
Yeah.
At the same time, I hope she doesn't like totally cave, because I would sure like to see her be well supported
Yeah.
for her future with her family.
Absolutely.
You know,
I feel
and
like
a lot
she
of
could
women,
do some destroying, but healthy, not like she's going to jail destroying, but like
but a lot of women walk away because they feel guilty taking
Yeah.
too much money because they're, say, the stay-at-home mom.
No,
but
you
the
take
law
it.
says
Take it
that
all.
your family income is based on the choices that you make.
Yeah.
So if you choose to be a single family income, she's still entitled to half of that.
Yeah.
Or more, because there'll be payments for the kids as well, because you've chosen to set up your family that way and your partners.
Yeah.
And at least here in Canada, child support is not owed to the spouse. It's owed to the child. So, you know, he could pay alimony for her income,
Yeah.
but also child support is owed to the children.
Yeah.
And not to her, whether
That's
he
right.
wants to pay it or not.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yes, a big chunk of his income is going to go. And I'm cool with that because,
Yeah.
wow, he deserves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
I
just
mean-
can't.
Yeah.
So what do we want to, so we have a sus meter and the sus meter goes from green to yellow to orange to red. And what do we think?
So
Because there's different
honestly,
aspects of the story, really.
I'm going with sketchy.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say I'm a firm sketchy.
I
as
would
fuck.
give it side eye if it was an affair because that sucks.
Yeah.
But it's not affecting the world. But sketchy because they've involved the children and
Yes.
the risk taking for the children. Like my head is sort of internally exploding. If anything had happened to these children, or if he's introduced them to her as a friend,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just it is sketchy. Sketchy.
It is sketchy. I would agree.
Yeah.
I dislike that. Like when you become a parent, it is a choice that you made to bring that child into the world or to take on the responsibility of that child. You did the deed.
Yeah.
It's not about you anymore, unfortunately, for this dude.
Yeah.
And he didn't get the memo. And so it is sketchy as fuck to bring in the children.
Yeah.
And use them
excuses.
as an excuse or to be able to leave the house and have sex.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I completely agree. I say sketchy as fuck for sure. And I'm almost tempted to say that I feel like the other woman is almost majorly sus in my opinion, because she knows he went back to her, like how
Yeah.
she knows everything. Obviously she knows everything. And now the baby is in the back
Yeah.
seat while
She's
they're
willing
doing
to put
it.
children at risk too. Like
Exactly.
And
That's
it's not
the
even
thing.
terrible
her
judgment.
child. It's not even her
It's
child.
not her child. It's not like
Yeah. And like
I don't
the
like
respect
that.
for herself, man. You got to get some respect for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if this
Like-
guy's telling you that he wants to be with you, he's clearly
he's
not.
lying. Totally lying.
I mean, they deserve each other now. They can go live with each other. They're gonna hate each other after 2 weeks, and he's gonna be
Well,
on
then he'll
Reddit.
cheat on her again.
He's gonna be on Reddit, being like, "I cheated on my wife. I was totally wrong for it, and now she's with somebody else who is a really nice guy, and
want my
I want
life
her back."
I want my life back.
I want my wife back. I want my life back. I was a really shitty husband, but I'm ready to be a better one. But now she's getting married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to your new world.
Yeah.
Yeah. You chose it.
You're stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
that's that. Thank you for sharing your opinions on that.
Oh my God.
And I
Okay, so mine is about a college student who was suspended for developing an AI study tool.
Oh.
You're really into AI.
I am the whole
The
AI
AI
rabbit
queen,
hole has really
AI
been getting
queen.
me. So, college student Benjamin Craver was flying high. It was March 2023, and the AI study tool he helped launch won a $10,000 first place prize at Emory University's startup competition. Months later, the same university suspended him and his co-founder for that same AI tool. So Craver is 20 years old. He was a junior at Emory with the goal of becoming a lawyer. He got involved with this AI tool in the winter of 2022 when his tech-savvy friend was messing around and building stuff, he said. The friend asked Craver to join him to enter the area in the startup contest at Emory. The two of them worked together to create a slideshow and an early version of the tool to pitch to the contest judges. The AI tool called 8Ball offers a way to help students study. 8Ball is different than ChatGPT, Craver said, because instead of pulling information from online sources, it specifically uses class materials that students upload to create flashcards, test questions, or build study guides. It doesn't grab other materials from the internet. Craver said his friend built the code and he was entrusted with getting the word out by creating flyers and social media posts to attract users. They picked AI because it's up and coming. He said, it's definitely going to affect the world in a huge way, much like the internet did. We wanted to focus on that and try to harness it for something positive. They worked to have a test version ready by March 2023 to enter 8Ball into Emory's annual Pitch the Summit event. It's a contest where students pitch their startup ideas, and 8Ball won first place, beating out 6 other ideas. We didn't expect that at all, said Craver, who said winning the $10,000 prize was a highlight of his time at Emory. It was really cool. So they spent the prize money on making 8Ball a reality, which was the whole purpose of the prize. They worked on it from home in the summer, and for advice, Craver said he talked to alumni that were recommended to him by one of the deans at Emory. When Craver and his friend went back to school in the fall, they shared an apartment, and they worked on 8Ball together after classes. And one November day, he was in that apartment when he received an email from the school that said he was at risk of being suspended. Craver said he'd received no warnings from the school before that. He said, I was upset and a little freaked out. I just laid on the bed for a while that day. He and his friend made the decision to shut 8Ball down several days later. It had only been live for a few weeks and had less than 100 users. In spite of their cooperation, Emory's Honor Council held a hearing in January of this year. So the school website says the Honor Council is a student-initiated honor system that governs integrity in all academic assignments and provides a platform for the fair consideration of allegations. It investigates all reports of academic misconduct, and students, faculty, and administrators are on it. So the Honor Council concluded that 8Ball violated the school's honor code when it connected to the school's Canvas servers, opening the possibility it could be used for cheating and potentially violating the school's IT policies. Canvas is a learning software that's used by many universities, and it's also where professors post their class notes. Now, Craver says 8Ball was designed to be connected to the software, and no one disapproved of it when they pitched it during the contest. However, the Honor Council report said that the $10,000 prize doesn't mean that Emory supported 8Ball, and that it's not up to the university to ensure that the tool is developed ethically. Craver was suspended by Emory for summer and fall 2024 semesters. He'll have to reapply to school, not just like go back, reapply to school in the spring of next year. His co-founder, the one who wrote the code, was initially expelled, but then his discipline was reduced to a 1-year suspension. I was pretty shocked.
Does that mean he doesn't have to reapply?
He'll probably have to reapply. I don't know. He actually remains unnamed because he didn't want to be named. So I don't know a lot of details. So in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Craver said, "I was pretty shocked. A suspension goes on your permanent record forever, basically. I would always have that mark of academic dishonesty, which is upsetting." He claims that the suspension prevents him from participating in the honors thesis program. It will delay the start of his career, and it will forever cast undeserved doubt on his integrity. So Craver has filed a lawsuit against Emory, hoping to get the university to reverse its decision and wipe the suspension from his record. He said his parents are funding the suit. An Emory spokeswoman declined to comment, saying the university wouldn't comment on pending litigation. But in court documents, the school has said 8Ball could be used to spread class information outside the school and help Emory students cheat. However, Craver's lawyers wrote in the lawsuit, "To be clear, Ben never cheated, and Emory never alleged that he did. In fact, Emory concedes that there is no evidence that anyone has ever used 8Ball to cheat." So schools and universities have grappled with how students could use AI without cheating since ChatGPT launched in late 2022. Emory's Code of Conduct says students can use AI as long as it's cited in their work, and that students should ask professors on its appropriate use if they're unclear about expectations. Vanessa Ushai is an Emory alumni who is one of the judges for the contest. She's written a letter of support that's included in the court files, stating that she and other judges were impressed by 8Ball, and issues of cheating or using the school's software didn't come up. "I, for one," she wrote, "wish that 8Ball had been available when I was a student." So Craver's lawsuit asks Emory to reverse its decision, let him come to school in the fall, and to pay damages of more than $75,000. He's also not abandoning 8Ball. He and his friends are working on getting it used by students at other universities. "My number one goal," he says, "is to return to school and be able to finish my education. If I can do that and 8Ball, then for sure, that would be really cool." What do you think?
It's funny that he got $10,000 and then now has to pay that $10,000 in lawyer fees.
Right?
So it's so stupid.
I mean, that's a very tricky thing about AI and school, right? Like, I remember when I was first hearing about AI and Chat GPT, I really didn't know much about it. And then I watched a South Park episode and they were using the AI to send like this guy was sending text to his girlfriend. He was just like, they would copy and paste and send it. And then somebody was like, I think it was Cartman. He was using it for school, for school work. And I was like, oh no, like that's a real thing now. Like they could easily do that. And it's like, you still should have to do the work.
My partner, he works within the school system, basically. He said that now they're not sending homework home so much, and they're making them do the writing in class.
I mean, as a teacher, I would want to see them do the work, right? Because it'd be so easy to go home and write write 3 paragraphs on Egypt.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's done. Also, AI currently, you can kind of tell if something is written by AI or if something is written by a person. But I think that AI is just going to keep getting better. And eventually it will be hard to tell. Sometimes it already is.
It is.
But also facts that AI brings are sometimes not correct.
yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I would say that that's for sure like a red flag,
Yeah.
right?
I think that, like what you said about AI sometimes sounding weird, I don't know if you guys have heard of the author Jordan Peterson. He's written a book, I don't know, 10 Laws of Life or something. I can't remember the title. He asked ChatGPT to write an 11th law, basically, for his book in his tone of voice. And when it produced it in about 30 seconds, he said he wouldn't know the difference. If he was a reader, he would have thought it was written by him.
Yeah, you can
Wow.
be really specific. I actually really like playing around with AI and seeing I find it really fun. Let's say you have to send out Christmas cards. If you put in specifically, I'm writing Christmas cards, I want it to be 20 words, phrases. I want them all to be different. Give me a selection of 25 options to write. Some are family, some are friends, some are aunts, some are uncles, like whatever. You can literally put in so many different specifics, and you can say, write it as Elvis, write it as Harry Potter, write it as, like, you can literally say whatever and it'll put it in that tone, in that thing. It's so cool. It's so cool. And you can seem super original, but likely it's AI or it's not. You don't know. But I mean, if it's coming from me, it's AI.
Well, if it's coming from you, it used to be like quote pages, and now it's AI. Yeah.
Exactly. Some of the stuff you can do with AI is really fun, and it'll give somebody a chuckle and a laugh. And it's kind of nice to not get just the regular Susan's greetings, Happy New Year, and just have like something funny and get a card or a birthday card or whatever. Like, but like for school work and that sort of thing, I think definitely there are dangers there.
But for this one, so what I find sus
Yeah.
about this story is that, one, they presented and won this on the idea. Two, faculty were helping them. Three, they connected to this. So it's designed for students to upload their notes.
Yeah.
But they also connected to this server where staff could, like professors would send their notes. How did they get connected to that server? I think that the school, some member of the school must have, like, those kind of servers, they are protected.
Aren't they like is the word encrypted or something like that?
Like I looked up the program, whatever it's called, and it's like a massive, like it's used by universities all over the place. There's no way you just hook it up.
Right.
So I don't think they just hooked it up themselves. They've gotten approvals, they've gotten IT things,
Access.
to
I
hook it up.
actually think that it is a really large possibility that they think, oh, this is just a little program that they made for this little contest, and somebody sees big bucks there. We're going to squash this guy, sue him into the ground, take away his future. So this other person who has this idea, who has influence, I could see that happening. People are
it's
greedy,
possible.
super greedy. And so, I could easily see somebody being butthurt about this and realizing that they have power influence and just getting people on their side and manipulating in the background.
Yeah. Because this honor council didn't act very honorably.
No.
These guys acted in good faith. They took it down voluntarily, and they still get suspended,
Yeah.
The suspended and the suspension and the expulsion.
right?
I just think that that's so excessive when they won a competition and they
Your
didn't
school
win.
paid them $10,000 for something that you said
Yeah.
was amazing.
More than that, faculty was advising them.
They were like, "Yeah, use
they
it."
didn't do this in secret.
No.
Yeah. Well, it didn't say in there that you're going to win this, but just so you know, you can't actually create create it. You know what I mean? It was like you won because you're awesome and this was a great idea.
And here's money to make it.
And here's the money.
The money is actually supposed to be used to make it.
Yeah. So I think that it's absolutely wild.
The other thing I think that is kind of sus is it kind of really hard to hold them accountable for is you can create a program, but like, let's say they created Facebook or they created Instagram. And if somebody misuses that platform, it's not Mark Zuckerberg's fault. It's the person's fault who did it.
Yeah.
It is not the person who created the program's fault. it's the person who's misusing the program.
Yeah.
Suspend those.
Yeah.
That's how
So
the
you're-
rules are. That's how.
Yeah. So you're
that's how
basically
it
talking
works.
about how because they said that they haven't found anybody to cheat using it. So they can't even say, well, you put this out there and now students are cheating because that's not happening. That's not,
Yeah.
that's not actual, that's not a fact.
Right, Ted? I agree.
Ted is very upset about this situation.
He thinks that people should be able to have access to notes at university. It would have been so helpful when I was in university.
Well, if it's creating like study guides and flashcards, and then the university saying they're concerned that this program could be used to share their private curriculum. Honestly, anybody with screenshot ability can share private curriculum.
And
like,
also,
welcome to the world today.
Who the fuck gives a care about your curriculum?
Yeah.
Like they already have at universities where you can go and sit for free.
Yeah.
In any class, they
Like
they
Harvard,
give
you
it
could
to.
take their classes online free. Yeah.
If somebody just were to do that, they would get your curriculum for free. So it's again, bleh.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that the school is a little bit, somebody at the school is a little bit greedy.
The university wants its name on it or whatever.
Or somebody on the honor council, somebody in a position of influence on the honor council, because they're not acting honorably. These guys worked really hard. They were up front the whole time. And then the ethics on this honor council didn't honor any of that.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I just don't like it.
Okay, so what's our sus meter?
It's just for me it's on the between side eye and sketchy as fuck. I mean, I don't think that they should have been suspended. I think that there's some weird stuff going on back there. Anytime there's something that is created and people have been a part of it, or they might feel some ownership of that, even though they really didn't do anything, they're side-eye to those people or what's going on. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background that we don't know about. So yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also going to say side eye because I do feel like these guys have a case. I feel like with the right representation, they could, because the guy just wants to be able to go to school, you know? He just wants to be able to go to school and he deserves to. Obviously, this guy is smart. You know, he deserves to be able to go to school. Yeah, so I'm gonna say side eye. I think it's on the verge of sketchy because there's some sketchiness. I do think that, you know, this guy's got a case.
I just think it boils down to money to me, but what do you think?
I'm going to go with sketchy just because you've got the system, you know, this established university. I don't know if Emory is Ivy League or not, but it's a top university.
Yeah.
Literally suspending someone who's trying to do the right thing. And it can affect his career. Like if you're trying to be a lawyer, you know, something like this, you don't get into a top firm.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so it's affected this young kid's life. And I see them trying to do the right thing. The school has admitted nothing bad has happened and they're ruining people's lives. So to me, I mean, I don't think his life is actually ruined, but certainly, you know, like he's losing a lot of opportunities here.
Yeah.
And so is his unnamed friend. And
That's
so
right.
to me, that's sketchy. They've taken things away from him. Future, you know, that's his future income. So to me, I'm not cool with that.
Yeah.
There's going to be a movie about this guy someday.
Maybe he'll run,
for real.
you know,
I'll watch it.
He'll run from the mob in the end, you know?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is the movie is that?
Oh, it's called The Firm. It was an
Oh,
old
yeah,
Tom Cruise
okay,
movie
I
where he
remember
gets
it,
like
yeah.
hired by this amazing Southern. Have you ever seen that one?
don't
It's
think
it's
so.
old. It's a John Grisham story, and it's genius how he works it out in the end. Like it's actually
That's
worth a
awesome.
watch. It's worth watching, and of course Tom Cruise like sprints in it too. That's one of his first iconic sprinting.
My niece
good.
runs like that. My niece runs like Tom Cruise.
She does. Oh
she
my
does.
gosh,
she does. She like runs.
Yeah,
It's so funny.
but it's actually a genius. Like it was a genius book.
My mommy.
Okay, you stay on that side of the.
He's like, no, man.
I'm
The
stretching
view
here.
from the camera must be great.
Ted, come on.
He's,
It's
like,
not this
so
type
resistant.
of podcast. Dude, we talked about this. You can't be showing your butt to
You're
everybody.
gonna have to censor so much of this.
Oh my gosh.
We'll have to put a little black bar against his butt.
We're sorry for the indecency that Ted has provided you with his butt, but
You know, we also apologize for the view or for the listeners that are listening just on like Spotify or whatever because they don't actually get to see Ted's butt.
I mean,
That's true, and it
yeah.
is something to behold.
it is. It is. Yes.
The little Pomeranian
You just hear us
Shih Tzu butt.
talking a lot about Ted's butt. I'm going to
I
describe.
think
I'm
we
just
should
kidding.
just include a picture of him in our
So funny.
in
Yeah.
our front page.
You can see a picture of Ted during this podcast on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll put him on Instagram.
Yes, a
And
couple of
wherever else
clips
we
of
have
him
things.
doing his stretches and his weird
He
things.
does like
And
puppy dog yoga.
are you ready for this?
Are you ready for this?
Don't read my screen. Are you trying to read my screen?
No,
I'm
but
just kidding.
sometimes it's right there.
I'm sorry.
Like these people with glasses. There's a screen there. That's all I know.
All right, so my story is an interesting one. It's about a girl who doesn't feel like she fits in with her family.
Okay. Secretly adopted.
So the first post, like when she's writing, there's like a few posts that she's written, and some of them she's really emotional, and so some of them they don't make sense, or like they do make sense. It's kind of hard to understand when you're reading it. You kind of have to kind of think out of the box or read between the lines, I guess is what I mean. She says, I'm probably the asshole, but I feel so upset and confused. I just needed an outside opinion. Last year, a child service worker contacted my parents to see if they would be willing to take a child, 15 female, who is recently orphaned and had a biological ties to them. That was even weirder that Sophia, was a genetic match to both of my parents. After some investigation, it turned out that she was their real daughter.
What?
The hospital messed up and accidentally switched me with her. I'm not actually their daughter.
Is this really real? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Obviously, once my parents found out Sophia was their daughter, they took her in. It's been around a year since she moved in. Everyone has been so happy since she came. I know that I'm a terrible person for being so self-pitying when Sophia is going through so much more than me, but ever since the truth came out, I've been feeling really terrible. I never really fit in with my family, and I've always been very self-conscious about it. When I was little, people used to call me the ugly duckling, which is a pretty good description if I'm being honest, except I never grew up into that swan. My parents and my older siblings all have always excelled at school. They are naturally gifted athletes and really popular. I'm pasty, pimply, and I have a lot of social anxiety. I have a hard time fitting in at school, and I used to get bullied, which caused everyone a lot of problems in my household. And now there's Sophia, who has the same clear skin, shiny black hair, and poise as them. And even though she just joined the school last year, all the teachers and students love her. We're in all the same classes, and I can't help comparing myself with her. She's so obviously a better fit in the family. Even my cousins commented on it. A month ago, I got a small award, not the big 3. I don't know what that means. Oh, never mind. Gold, silver, bronze.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she got a small award for some digital art. But because we hadn't got our booster shots yet, I think this must have been during COVID, my parents said we couldn't go to the exhibit. Now Sophia just won a student leader award, and my parents are throwing a party for her. I get it's not the same situation, and her award is much bigger than mine, and everybody else got their shots now. And I just started feeling so terrible when I saw how proud and happy my parents looked with an arm around her that I couldn't take it and I had to leave. Sophia saw I was going from across the room and asked kind of loudly where I was going. And then everyone turned to stare at me, and I started crying and I ran away. It's not Sophia's fault. I'm insecure and I hate this. I hate that I'm not their real daughter, that I don't fit in, and that I'll never be able to meet my bio parents who I could have possibly fit in with. What do you guys think so far?
I feel for OP. That's like such a wild scenario,
Yeah.
you know? I don't know. I feel for her.
Her, yeah.
Yeah, I feel for her. She's deserving of feeling important because she's an important person. Everybody is
Yeah.
important. And, you know, when your family doesn't treat you as such,
Or even if they do, if you were in that situation where you have always had little comments said that, oh, you don't, this is different about you and that's different about you. I wonder where that came from. I mean, always when you're in a family, people talk about, oh, you look like this person, you look like that person, and whatever. Like a lot of times that is a conversation that is had.
Yeah.
And when so my mom was adopted, And so it's really, I'm like the second generation of somebody. And so it's like we can say that. But my grandmother, whenever I would say as a kid, oh, I must have got this from you. Oh, I have blonde hair. And she had very like white hair at that time. And I look like a Targaryen child. My hair was white. And I said, oh, I got that from you. And then she kindly explained to me that she can pass along other things, but DNA is not one of them. So when you're adopted or something, or when you find out and you've had these little things, that would be really hard to deal with.
Yeah, what's your take on this so far?
I am completely skeptical of this story.
Okay, I know
There's a lot of fake stories on Reddit.
Yes, I know. You don't think switched at birth happens?
I don't think in this day and age it does. No, but also there's some red flags to this story for me. So I'll explain why I don't think this story happened. Because one, CPS apparently contacted them about a child who would be a genetic match. Where would they know that it's a genetic match from? Like if there was a 15-year-old child that was a genetic match, they would know that a family member had died or something. Like if you've got a genetic match in your family, that's you're related to that family. And so you're just like, what happened? The sister or a brother had that child. And then two, I don't actually think her parents ever called her the ugly duckling. Like, you just don't say that to your kid. And so this whole sob story about how she's ignored is just a lot, especially because I think, like she says, I'll never get a chance to meet my bio parents. Maybe there's an explanation why, but CPS would certainly have explained the situation to her. They would have found out who her bio parents were, because remember, like she's a teenager. They were doing footprints when I was a baby. And so, like, I think that, footprints are taken, things like that. If she was actually switched at birth from that hospital, records would have been digital 15 years ago already. And so I think they would easily be able to find out who her family was. So I just think that in this day and age, being switched at birth, maybe it could happen, but this complete lack of information is no, because I just don't believe it. I just don't believe that there would be this suddenly out of the miracle blue genetic child. How did that happen?
Yeah.
They don't take genes at birth.
Okay, so basically, one of the reasons why they got rid of the nursery, so even when my niece was born, she's 21 now, they were taking babies into a nursery where all the babies were, right? They stopped doing that because the nurses, like, usually there's a thing on the foot or whatever, but babies move around and that tag goes, and a lot of babies look alike. And when the babies aren't sitting with the mother or sitting with the family, then they're in the nursery and they get switched. And I actually looked it up, and apparently every year an estimated 20,000 babies are switched due to various misidentifications of newborns, because sometimes they take the babies out of the room to do testing. And that is before. So as soon as you have your baby, if there's any complications, they don't go and they do these fancy little footprints and whatever. They don't do that. They go and they deal with the meconium that's in their stomach, maybe breathing in their poop when they're born, or like different misidentifications, different reasons. They don't have the ability to always do these proper, like, there is obviously they're supposed to, but maybe they have two babies in a room, and then they're like, oh, this is John Smith's baby or Janet Smith's baby, and this is, and it's the wrong one. So it actually does happen. 20,000 babies. This is from 2023.
So 20,000 babies in the States, I would assume.
Yeah, this is in the States. Switched out of a total of 4 million births each year. So, sorry, nearly 28,000 babies were switched and maybe found out. The ones that are found out out of 4 million births out of their census that year.
So depending on, like, Canada has approximately 1/10 of the population, so it could be
less.
2,800 here,
Yes.
which is still pretty significant. So sure, I'll acknowledge it could happen, but I still think this particular story has holes in it.
Fair enough. It could.
Yeah.
It could. I mean, there are fake stories on Reddit. I don't know if this one's real or not.
Yeah.
Some of these things that you brought up may be answered.
Excellent.
But I wanted to see what you guys say. So some of the things that OP answered were, if OP's parents are Sophia's bio parents, where are OP's bio parents? And they said the ones who raised Sophia, they died recently in a car accident. So that's why she could never meet them. So where is OP's bio family now? I don't think there's anyone from my bio family left. Her grandparents died a few years ago. My parents were the only child of each. After my bio parents died, nobody could locate any relatives to take her in. So Sophia herself purchased the DNA kit to try to find somebody who could take her in because her family unit was so small. And that's what led her, because I guess her parents had also done, OP's parents had also done an ancestry kit or whatever those are. And then how did Sophia find OP's adoptive family? Sophia was going into foster care because there weren't any known relatives. Sophia bought a DNA test to try to find some distant relatives because she didn't want to go into foster care, which is what connected her to my adoptive family and her bio family. For instance, I don't know a lot about my mom's side of the family because she was adopted, her bio family. And I mean, foster care for a girl is really tough. Or a boy. Or whatever you identify as. Foster care in general is really tough.
Yeah.
And so I think that I would probably turn to the same thing. Like, do I have any distant relatives? I would definitely try an ancestry kit if I thought about it, if I sat down and thought about it.
Yeah. And that's not to say that your bio family is going to be the family for you either.
Yes, that's true.
You know what I mean? It's
when desperation comes, you come and you do try different things.
That's right.
And that is something that is very readily available out there. What do you think, Nicole, now that you've heard this?
Okay, so I'll give you both trains of thought. I'm still suspicious because I actually have a story in the work about DNA tests and how not accurate they are. So I don't know. It seems like a convenient answer. But if it's real, then I feel for OP as a person who was adopted as a baby. I've always been different from my adoptive family.
Yeah.
And then when I met my bio dad, what was I, 29 or something like that? There was instant connection that we still have today. We're good friends. And definitely I saw parts of myself that never fit into my adoptive family. Sense of humor, especially. Neither of my adopted parents had my sense of humor, got it, or respected it. Whereas with my bio dad, it's a laugh a minute. And so that feeling of not fitting in, and especially because it's like the prodigal child, but Sophia's not even a prodigal. It's not like she went out and lived a bad life. She's just this shining star that they're so glad to have back. I'm sure they still absolutely love their other daughter.
Yeah.
But she doesn't excel in the same ways. She's different. And so Sophia gets all this attention now. Yeah, I feel like, she's asking, is she the asshole for having an emotional reaction and crying? No. That's just a real emotional reaction. Mm-hmm. If she went out and murdered her sister or tried to do terrible things to her, yeah. But it doesn't sound like that's what happened. It sounds like she's feeling hurt and left behind. I think communication could be better in their family. The parents could support her a little bit better.
Yeah.
And, but her feelings are valid.
Yeah.
If she's telling the truth.
Yeah, maybe it's an AI written story.
I don't know. It still has holes to me.
Also, for when OP is looking at Sophia and she's she has this opportunity to be the shining star. She even said in there, she has this opportunity to fit in and see these things that she connects with my family with that I don't connect. And she doesn't have that opportunity because her family, literally Sophia's parents died in a car accident. And the grandparents are dead, and anybody else, aunts, uncles, whatever that might be, great aunts, uncles, cousins, she doesn't know them. She doesn't really have any options to know them unless somebody else, I guess, does a DNA test. And so that would be really difficult, I think, for OP, that this person can come in and be their shining star, and they can have that amazing moment of finding each other, and OP is denied that. Not because she's a bad person or anything, but just because of how life happened. And so, yeah, I think that would be really, really tough.
Yeah, I like you say, if this story is true, then OP deserves to feel worthy of respect. And regardless if she has clear skin or not, we all develop differently. And, who's to say 5 years from now she's not walking down a runway, you know what I mean? She's still so young. They're 15.
Yes. Yeah.
Both girls are 15. You have your whole life ahead of you. Sometimes you don't mesh with your family, whether they're your bio family or not. And sometimes you end up taking time for yourself when you need to figure out who you are, because no matter what's happening around you, in your home, outside of your home, you are your own home, right? You have to tell yourself that you are worthy of love and respect, no matter what you look like, no matter what you sound like. And that's just a fact. But that's really hard to accept when you're 15.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like I have a story. I won't say it now, but I was taken from my home and taken to foster care, and it was like against my will, and it was supposedly for my best benefit. But yeah, you just sometimes life happens to you, and it's the choices you make that make your life better.
Yeah.
I would say that about Sophia too. Like,
Yeah.
she may be student leader and fit and check all the right boxes, but emotionally, she's probably not doing great.
That's right.
She's lost her entire world
Yeah.
and is having to fit into a new world. And yes, there's probably some joy in that feeling of discovery, but this is an entirely different family with a different structure.
Yeah.
And I bet you she is masking a lot to get through.
You're
Oh,
so
absolutely.
right. You're so
Absolutely. Like
And-
this
and I
Sophia
bet
girl's
you-
dealing with a lot.
I bet you if the two sisters actually were able to talk and be real with each other, they would find they have a lot more in common, because I bet you they both feel like they don't fit in.
Like, this specific scenario has not happened to very many people.
Yeah.
And you can commiserate and go through, because she's probably, you're right. The Sophia is probably having a lot of the similar emotions.
She's probably
her
very lonely
mom
inside.
and her dad that she's known her entire life
As her parents.
are dead.
And then the shock of learning that they weren't your parents.
That would just be so hard. Both of them probably have some kind of feeling like they don't fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I think if the two girls can get together and like be honest with each other about their own feelings, like they could be an unstoppable duo.
Yeah.
Really,
Well, I
if they
think they
can
could-
get on the same page.
I think that they have a better chance of helping each other heal than the parents necessarily
Yeah.
do, just because they can connect with each other at the same level.
That's true.
And actually, I bet you Sophia secretly has a ton of respect for OP, and OP just thinks that she's less than.
Yeah.
But it's not true. And I don't think the parents, in spite of their small oversights, it doesn't sound like an abusive family. I think that
No.
they really care about both of them, you know?
Yeah.
It's
And
probably
they're
a shock for
reeling, too.
their
Yeah.
whole family is
Yeah.
probably like absolutely in shock.
If that ever
and-
happened to somebody I knew, I'd be like, you all need to go into therapy. And
Absolutely, they do.
Figure out how to communicate through this.
Yeah.
Let's face it, we feel like everyone needs therapy.
That's true.
on
I
here.
think everybody could do a
because
therapy.
we're all going through a whole lot of crap, and
We don't have, yeah.
you need tools.
Yeah.
Therapists,
You need
counselors, they
support.
have toolboxes.
You need
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if you're
need
looking
therapy,
for
Ted?
support on Reddit, that's okay too. Like sometimes you just need an outlet.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't want people to know it's you.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
ask away wherever you can.
Yeah.
Because that's all you can do.
All right. Well, we have an update from OP too.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
Yeah. So a while back, I posted about how miserable I felt because I didn't feel like I belonged to the family that raised me. I have been struggling with insecurity for years, and it got so much worse when we learned that I had been switched at birth and that my biggest fears came true. I wasn't part of this family. I couldn't stand around and be their real daughter, Sophia. I didn't feel like we were sisters. It felt like I was an imposter and she was a princess. I ended up breaking down during a party for her and I ran away. I posted here because I wanted anyone to tell me that I was going to be okay and that I was loved. Someone did. I found out later that Sophia left the party as soon as she saw me crying. She spent hours searching for me before finding me in the old treehouse. I was miserable and I was embarrassed, and I tried to give some type of apology to her, but it dissolved into more crying and a word vomit of all my insecurities. She hugged me and let me sob all over her. She told me the party didn't matter and that I was more important to her.
Oh.
I know, it's so cute. So it hurt so much to hear that because I didn't expect it. I didn't feel like I could believe it. It felt like too much, like it was more than what I deserved. For the next week, relatives scolded me about overreacting. But it didn't hurt so bad because someone was on my side. We went to the art exhibit with my work, not like it's not that she's at work. Yeah. We went to the art
piece of work that she did.
Yeah, the piece of work that she did later because she couldn't believe that I hadn't gone yet. We got ice cream and she gushed about how talented I was. She's the top of the class and the captain of the girls' varsity volleyball team. She's 1,000 times more talented, but she spoke like I was the rebirth of the Renaissance. Sophia took me shopping and showed me that the cream my mother used to give me, she figured our skin types would be similar. And guess what? I don't have acne anymore. She told me that I'm beautiful and that I have my father's eyes and laugh and my mother's button nose.
That's cool.
I know. That's so cute. I'm going to cry. After that, she cried because it hurt to remember them. And I cried with her. I never thought of that aspect either. Like, Sophia would see her parents in OP.
Yeah, that's hard. That would be so hard because
Yeah.
you miss she misses her parents, right?
Well, and she must have some photos to share with OP as well.
That's so true. You're probably right. And like old memories and stuff. That would be wonderful for OP.
Yeah.
Here, I'll get everybody Kleenexes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, here's for Ted. And here's for you. All right, now we're done crying. I cried with her. She defends me at school and at home. When a cousin took a crack at me at my weight, Sophia went positively glacial. That's my sister you're talking about. And then he turned red and apologized immediately. When I'm sad, she rolls a blanket around me and calls it a burrito. It doesn't hurt me now when people compliment Sophia or comment on how she's my parents' real daughter, because she is their daughter and she really is amazing and she deserves compliments. I've stopped feeling bad that my parents connect with her so much more easily than they've ever done with me, that they take more interest in what she's doing than they've ever done with me, because now I have someone who gets me. She tells me nice things about me every day, and I'm starting to believe her. We weren't born to the same people or raised by the same people, but she's my sister, and that's what makes me feel so, so lucky. I'm going to be a better sister, the best sister. Oh, right, Ted? He's like,
He's so happy. He's so happy ending.
Oh, it's okay, Ted. It's okay. I've never felt so much like I've had the best family before. So, and then that's what it is.
What a great ending to that story. That makes it all feel so real now, doesn't it?
Ish. I was starting to believe that it was real when she at the beginning of that update, but at the end I was like, so everything's magically resolved.
I don't know, not everything. I think that she's
I'm still a little skeptical, maybe less skeptical, but
I think it would be really hard to be in a family that you felt like never fit in, and that like maybe you're not good enough. Like your mom wants you to be good at this because she was good at that, but you're not good at that. This other person is good at that, and they're like, oh, she's good at that. Maybe OP's family wasn't the nicest to her in the first place. The cousin's taking cracks at her weight. The mom and the dad don't really care about her art exhibit that nobody went to, just her sister, just Sophia did.
Yeah, OP has definitely not been the asshole in any of this, even through her emotions.
Yeah.
Because all of those emotions are completely valid for anybody. You know, it doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter, you know, your social status. You are allowed to feel all of those things. And, you know, if the story is true, it got us in the feels. And I would love to hear more stories about this. Like, you know, maybe some of our viewers even have switched at birth stories and, you know, or have a friend who has a story like that or whatever the case is. Find us on social media and tell us your stories because we want to hear your stories.
Yeah.
You know, like I guarantee you there's somebody out there listening right now who's like, I need to tell those girls my story and we want to hear it.
We do.
and you know, if you're gonna do a fake one, sure, make it
I'll
good.
believe you.
I'm really
Make us
always
cry
looking for
again.
interesting content. Yeah,
I'll believe you.
she'll believe you.
I will. I'm really gullible.
I am sus.
You're definitely more sus than me.
That's emotional. See, caution.
Yeah, see? I mean, we're all crying though. One person comments here. I think the issues go back even further. Oh, first they say the lion, the witch, and the audacity, which is what brought the comment to my eye. I was like, that's hilarious. How is there more? That's what they said. Anyway, they talk about how so the OP refers to herself as the ugly ducking and laments how she never turned into a swan, but she's only 15. I would hope that no parents would say that, but I've definitely overheard parents say really rude stuff to their kids. oh, you're the ugly duckling now, but you'll turn into a swan eventually.
Yeah, they think they're doing something nice. But
Exactly. But, you know, that never happened. And they're like, it'll happen someday. You just have acne, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you'll get a glow up. Yeah. So, I mean, it is definitely possible that OP's parents were not very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they were not very nice. I think on the scale,
Yeah.
I'd give them somewhere between a green light and a side eye because I don't really
Yeah.
hear a lot of abuse, just more like they don't get her. And I think they make an effort, but they're clearly enjoying connecting with someone easier right now.
Yeah. Definitely the teenage angst probably has a factor in there too.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
As for OP, I would give her either a green light
Yeah.
if she's telling the truth or side eye if she's not. I'm going to believe she's 15, and if she needs to act out with this story, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the story has a happy ending, so I'm on the verge of chill, and I am definitely side-eyeing the parents in this story. Because I'm like, they're not harming anybody, but they could be handling it in a different way, a more respectful way for their own,
Yeah.
like, just to even understand the angst that would come from this.
I don't think they understand the depth of her feelings,
don't,
which
no.
I suspect she keeps private because they don't get her.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I certainly did keep private the feelings that my parents didn't get. And so that's why I didn't give them anything harsher because let's face it, all parents kind of scar their kids. You know, we all
In
have to
some
go to
way or
ther-
another.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even good parents, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
leave
because
you
they're
with
learning how to
marks.
be parents at the same time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're all learning. We're all
Yeah.
on a
We're on
journey.
this like, age we
Yeah.
are now learning. Like we haven't been here before, just like they haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So I get that they're, and I feel like there were siblings too. So they might be busy. I get that they're trying, you know, they're just
Yeah.
sometimes missing the mark.
Yeah.
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 that's
So I'm
true.
gonna say chill for the story. Parents, you could just be a little bit
a little
smoother,
bit handling better.
you know?
Yeah. I don't think they're abusive.
no.
Yeah.
Also, I can remember like people saying things to me when I was a teenager, and I can remember having really big feelings about those things.
Yes.
And when I think back on it, I'm like, oh man, I was such a silly goose. That is not actually accurate.
Yeah.
yeah. And they say things maybe without an intention to encourage.
Yeah.
But it just totally goes,
So-
especially if you're, you know, different, that
Yeah.
it just totally goes the opposite direction.
Absolutely.
Received differently.
Yeah. And on the parents' side, they didn't know. Like, let's say they suddenly get a call. Hello, we would like to let you know that your youngest child switch at birth. They give them the lowdown. The parents are probably like, what?
Yeah. 15 years.
What?
I would also be like, I need some proof, man. Well, you know me, I'd be like, really?
Yeah, but they probably, I'm sure they did that.
Yeah.
But obviously, like, they'd be like, what? Especially because they said after additional testing, they realized they are the parents. So they
Yeah.
did do all this testing. The parents probably are overcompensating
Oh, yeah.
because they're like, this
They feel immense
child-
guilt.
probably immense guilt. They didn't notice.
Yeah.
And this child has been raised by, like, they know their household. This other child has lost their parents and everything they knew. And so as a parent, I'd be like, I know my child was raised a specific way. And I could see them definitely putting a lot more effort into trying to build and catch up for lost time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like 15
trying to
years
make her
is
feel welcome.
such a
Yeah.
long
Oh,
time.
exactly.
Such a long time.
The trying to make her feel welcome is probably huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
So what's your take on the meter?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely like chill side eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the end, it's definitely a chill story.
Yeah.
It's sus that they were switched at birth, whatever that situation was.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very interesting story.
I was completely blown away. Like there's always that nature versus nurture debate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was completely blown away by how much of me is formed by nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
So it's a thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that was a good episode,
I
ladies.
think so too.
Yes.
I think so too. It was
Ted?
really good. How did you feel, Ted? I know there was some cries, there was some laughter. Give us your opinion.
Oh, now he's quiet.
Yes.
Oh yeah. He's thinking. Deeply thinking. Oh, here we go.
What do you have to say about that?
He also is very mysterious and will not face a camera. Oh. He's very serious. He's whispering in Lori's ear,
Yes.
telling her what he truly thinks.
Yes.
Sometimes his thoughts are private.
Yeah. That he only shares with you.
Yeah.
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 Sometimes they are not, and they're very loud.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Too loud.
Loud and proud.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for joining us for this episode of This Is Sus. You can find us where podcasts are found, including Spotify and YouTube. We mostly use our Reddit page for stories too. If you have any ideas that you want to post, it's r/thisissus. Plus, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and that's a lot already. So that's very good.
Yeah.
If we have more, I'm just not sure about it. Anyway, thank you again for joining us. And as always,
Be curious.
seek the truth.
But stay suspicious.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah. Be curious.
Seek the truth.
She's had trouble. Okay, Lori.
But stay.